Hello fourth graders and welcome to another video science test review. This is Mr. Pasafume and today we are going to be talking about adaptations. Now adaptations are special features like a body part or a behavior like sleeping during the day that help an animal survive. So we're going to be looking at environments like the desert, we're going to be looking at environments like the ice-cold tundra, and we are going to be talking about environments like deep into the ocean. All these type of environments animals have adapted to so that they can survive in these harsh climates. So let's go ahead and look at some different genres or types of adaptations. One of them is called camouflage. Camouflage is an adaptation that an animal has basically so that they can blend into their environment. So when a predator comes along to eat it, it can't see it because it blends in to the environment that that animal's a part of. For example, if you look at this white polar bear in the Arctic tundra, because this polar bear is white and the snow behind him is white, he blends in with the environment and so he is harder to see. Another genre or type of adaptation is mimicry. Mimicry is basically where an animal or an organism tries to look like another organism. So in this case, this butterfly tries to look like a plant so that when a predator comes along and it's looking for a butterfly or it's looking for an insect, it doesn't want plants, it's going to pass over this butterfly because it looks like the plant. Okay? Now let's also talk about, as I mentioned earlier, let's talk about some special features that animals have that help them survive in these climates. The thick fur in the Arctic tundra helps the polar bear stay dry and warm in the cold, harsh climate. Going back, I should have mentioned, look at this desert snake. Do you see how it blends into the brown soil? This is another form of camouflage because this snake in the desert is blending in. So I should have mentioned that before. Let's go back to the special features. If you look at this whale, you can see that it has thick blubber on its skin. Because these whales live in the really cold water of the ocean, this thick blubber helps keep them warm. Also, you can see this fin here. This fin helps this dolphin survive. It's a special feature because it helps them swim fast and get away from their predators. Let's look at this behavior now. We talked about some special features. Now look at some behaviors. This animal actually learned to dig a hole and sleep underground in the desert so that it stays cool during the hot summer days. Also, where was that? Some animals are nocturnal, or they sleep during the day and come out at night. Reason being is that when it's hot outside, you don't want to have to use a lot of energy because it's very tiring. You guys know that. When it's hot outside and we have to go outside and run 2 laps, it's like, oh, it seems like it takes twice as much energy to do those laps than if it was a colder, cooler, nice day. So what this animal does is learn to sleep during the day when it's hot, and then at night when it's cooler, that's when this animal, this kind of animal, comes out and does all of its hunting and that's where it's traveling and that sort of thing because it's cooler, and so it's a lot easier for him to do things because he doesn't have to exert as much energy. Now, how do animals pass down these special features or behaviors to their offspring? The study of how animals pass on their adaptations to their offspring is called genetics. Okay, and we're going to look at a couple examples right here. So let's say this green fish and this red fish, they're a couple, and they are swimming around in a very clear lake. Okay? They're a couple, and they have a red and a green child. Okay? Now, let's say by a natural disaster or something, the lake starts to get murky and green. Okay, so you can see the lake now is murky and green. And these two parents, once again, they had red and green children. They are swimming around in this now green lake. Remember, it was not green for these parents. It was nice and clear. The problem now for these two kids is that the red fish become that much more visible and clear for predators to attack them. So what happens? These red fish end up getting eaten. Only the green fish survive. So you can see these two, remember the water is clear for these two. But for the kids now, because the pond or the lake is green and murky, the red one does not continue on. Only the green one is able to continue on and have children. So the green trait, the green color, is the only trait or characteristic that gets passed on genetically to the offspring. Another real popular example is the giraffe. A long time ago, giraffes had much shorter necks. What caused their necks to grow is that these giraffes would try to reach for the trees. As the giraffes reached for the trees in order to get food and survive, their necks would grow. Okay, so once again, they would stretch to get the food, and their necks would actually grow when they stretched. So you can see here, this tree is very short, and these tiny giraffes are able to get to the tree. Okay? This particular giraffe, though, because it has a shorter neck and did not stretch, did not have children. So only this giraffe, the one that stretched and grew, had children. But let's say for these two babies, the trees grew a little bit. Okay? So now this 1-foot giraffe, it's not able to get to the tree anymore. So the giraffe that continues on is the giraffe that is able to stretch and grow and get its neck to reach the trees. Okay, so this 2-foot giraffe has children. But let's say for these babies, the trees grew even higher, maybe because of a forest or because the trees just continued to grow, and so the leaves got farther and farther away. Now, because this giraffe didn't make that effort and get the trees, whereas in this giraffe did, this giraffe now grew its neck all the way to 3 feet. It started with a 2-foot neck, but it stretched all the way to 3 feet as it's trying to get these trees. Only the 3-foot giraffe continues on and has kids. So you can see, with every generation, with every set of kids, the neck grows longer because these giraffes, the ones that fight and stretch their necks to get the food, are the only ones that move on. And so the necks get longer and longer as the trees get taller and taller, and the giraffes have to stretch their neck. So that's called genetics. We talked about the fish there. We talked about camouflage, nocturnal. We talked about, I think, this animal that sleeps underground so that it stays cool during the desert. We talked about the Arctic tundra. I think that is about it for this one. Yes, that is it for this one. Nocturnal. That is it. We've covered everything for the test. We've reviewed everything that we covered in class. If you have any questions, contact me on Edmodo or Facebook. I hope you've enjoyed this lesson, and I look forward to seeing you guys in class.